Hey everyone, and welcome to the Best of 3 Call of Duty Esports podcast. I'm your host, Josh. SalvationsElite. To my right is Sam Batch_Bo3, and to our farthest right, per usual, is Rex Shady Nero. And guys, today, ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot to talk about today. GA debates are flying. LA Thieves, the Los Angeles Thieves, potentially with a new fourth. And, of course, we're going through a dynasty draft today and drafting our dynasty teams of Call of Duty League players. 2.0. But before we get to any of that, guys, I've got to ask, what is going on?
Oh, Josh, I am feeling like TJ Halley on the map right now. I am gunning around corners, sliding around, canceling.
He's doubling down on it.
And I am just gunning Scump, gunning Envoy, and gunning Dashy. My brother in arms is getting gunned by me, 100 Thieves, TJ Halley.
Wow, wow.
You just doubled the hate comments on
yeah,
you, my
dude.
friend.
So for those of you, Sam, how are you doing first?
I'm doing good.
All right, doing all right.
Okay.
Nice, dude. For those of you who are confused, of course, last week we did a top players at each position type situation, SMGs, ARs, and flexes, and Rex had the audacity to put Tej at 5 of the SMGs, and the comments had a heyday.
But Scump, bro.
Were pissed.
But Scump, bro.
But Scump, bro. Come on.
But Scump. All right.
Yeah, dude. Come on. But yeah, we got a lot to talk about. We do love Scump around here, though. We're not getting that wrong.
We do.
But like I said, we got a ton to talk about today. So you can watch us on Apple. You can watch us on YouTube. Hopefully, one day you can watch us on Spotify if they ever add more of that. Apple Podcasts, you can listen, of course, and you can drop a review on Apple Podcasts, a comment on good old YouTube. Rex?
Yeah.
Am I doing the comments today?
You sure are.
You've got the review today. Don't mind us. Yeah, you've got a good one today.
5-star review comes from, a known name in the scene, Vonderhaar Elite. 5 stars. Let it be known that I come from a higher breed of human beings, as I use Spotify to listen to great podcasts.
We're going to be here for 5 minutes.
Such as the Best of 3 COD Esports podcast and the Codcast. # no free shoutouts. 3 hosts, Salad Mayonnaise Elite, RTX Shaders Nero, and Dashy BO4 or something like that. Often provides insightful takes on current events in the world of professional Call of Duty, except when one of them ranks Envoy higher than every other player. Imagine being biased towards one player. Couldn't be me. Have I mentioned yet that Illy is the greatest CDL pro in the history of sport? Like, for real. Shout out Illy, man. He's the GOAT. Keep it up, guys, and stay solid. Shout out to you all, and keep doing great things.
Let's go, baby. Sorry, Vonderhaar Elite. I had to put a little bit of that into 2 times speed, or else we would have been here for ages. He wrote a literal, book.
Novel.
In the reviews there. But we do
New York
appreciate the
Times.
5-star Vonderhaar Elite. You are goated. Shout out the memester himself. It is good. But
yes,
we got a lot to get into today. So basically, we've been starting off the docs with a quick question nowadays, and this is quite the interesting one.
I don't know how to read this question.
I'll be honest, I have not looked at this one until right now.
I don't actually know how to read it.
One player from Surge.
So I think I got it. I think I
We're
understand.
put together a podcast here.
So there's one player from the Seattle Surge roster that has to be subbed out. Who's the person that you sub out, and who do you replace them with?
Who's the pool we can choose from?
Anybody. AMs, pros. Well, not pros. Let's do AMs. Like a person who could
not currently on a
be
team?
sent there. Like, you can't put Scump there because Scump's never leaving, Optic.
Okay. So anyone who's currently not signed to a team?
Right. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. I would replace Looney for Scraps. Don't know how I feel about that, but that's probably what I would end up doing. Again, the kind of whole point of that roster, though, is to have Looney and Gunless together.
With Octane.
Yeah, with Octane. And then, with the other aggressive sub of Pristini, it's kind of they built their roster in that way. So it's kind of interesting. Like, it could potentially just still obviously work out totally fine for him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean,
I think you could replace Pristini with Scraps.
Yeah, you could.
You probably get the same intensity.
They're very similar. They're very similar in how they play.
Pristini and Asim maybe having a good trade-off there.
Would that actually improve them, though? Like, I feel like they're very similar players in how they play.
That's what I mean. Like, I feel like it's a pretty easy. Like, if you had to sub someone out, you could sub out Pristini and put in Asim, and maybe you wouldn't have too much of a drop off.
Oh, if you're just looking to I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. I feel like, obviously, John gets you kind of excited if you could.
I would love.
Yeah,
John
I'm surprised you didn't say that one off the rip, Sam.
I know. I've almost forgotten my John.
But we
so
don't really know where John is at this point with everything, so it doesn't really make that much sense to add him on there. Like maybe like KiSMET maybe on that roster would be
could work.
All right, yeah, it wouldn't be too bad. So Jerd could be interesting. Yeah, no, I mean that's actually kind of fun.
Yeah.
But all right, well there you go.
Cool.
That was I don't know how I feel about that quick question, but it worked out at the end of the day. So let's get into the news here.
Let's do it.
I'm so confused today. I don't know what's going on. Hit the drop. Hit it.
The Call of Duty News of the Week.
Okay.
Oh my word, boys. The news of the week.
It's here.
It's wild. It's a wild time. So we wanted to start off with the hot news of the week. The kind of like, I would say the headliner of the week when it comes to especially roster mania. We're going to save the GA talk kind of like for its own segment, but we're going to start off in the roster mania world. Somehow roster mania continues.
I know.
Over and over and over. But
that's crazy.
Temp is apparently dropped from the 100T LA Thieves roster, even though he wasn't ever. Can you get dropped if you're never officially signed? I don't know, but that's basically what happened here.
Yes.
Temp tweeted, "Gonna try this again. Who's the best Challengers AR player not on a team, or that won't sketch on that will sketch on their burgers? Let me know if you want to try to win." I was like, he couldn't have possibly said they will sketch, but
I know.
He's Donnie. I forgot.
He's Temp.
Yep. So it's looking like, I mean, hey, Karma replied with "Yo."
Yeah.
Who knows, man?
That would be
Who
cool.
knows? But where are you at with 100T at this point? Does this mean Draza? Where are you at? What do you think's hadn't happened with Temp? How's that going to play out? Thoughts on the whole situation, Rex?
I mean, I wonder if they just confirmed it and were like, Temp, you're not going to be on the team. Like, there's no chance for you to be on this team. Like, go find something else. Or if they're actually trying to like trial these players like while they can during these early scrims. Like they scrimmed with Temp for a decent amount of like how much we've gone to at this point, like 3 weeks or whatever. And they seem to be doing like okay. I didn't think Temp was really the problem.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if they had a huge problem to begin with, to be honest.
They were definitely having some struggles in scrims, but it was against some of the really good teams that they were definitely struggling against. So, I mean, and I don't see them as like fast start type players anyway. I feel like they're more guys that need to get into the. I mean, literally in BO4, they really struggled at the beginning. Optic really struggled at the beginning. So, like, I mean, last season. So it's like, I think realistically, it's weird to expect them to be really, really good right now in the first 2 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing too. Like, Temp's not even the common. Like, we're saying they started slow at the beginning of the season. Like, Temp is not even the common denominator with that either.
Right.
So it's like there's 3 of these other players, but I guess they're signed already. But
yeah, that's the thing. So
maybe
I mean,
they're
like,
looking for like their god am,
I mean, yeah, maybe that's what it is.
You kind of wonder too if they're trialing out both Draza and Temp at the same time, and obviously Draza has already been confirmed, and maybe they're like, well, Draza's playing better. Let's just not even sign Temp. And so he got dropped. I don't know. I haven't seen much of Draza's gameplay, but apparently some people in the Reddit
he was playing well today in the Memorial tournament.
Yeah, there's a couple comments saying that he's been playing pretty well. So it might just be honestly that they're just going to play with Hydra and not even worry about trying to get someone else. Sorry, Draza. I keep saying Hydra. Draza. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And it could have been like a contract thing too. Like I keep trying to bring like, kind of like money and contracts into this, which, it is a deal, but I don't know. Like, I don't know if Temp would be willing to play for 50K.
You would think LA Thieves would want the most star-studded roster as possible, though.
True. It is true. Like with like content.
With them coming into the league now.
Coming into the league now, and like, they definitely want to come in hot. So I don't know. I definitely did not see this coming. Like, I thought for sure Temp was a shoe-in.
Mm-hmm.
Like he fit in perfectly. Like he had the same intensity as Slasher, but maybe he just wasn't working out. Wasn't playing well. Again, this is early with scrims and stuff, but people tend to kind of freak out if they don't play well right away too. So
right,
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, again, you're bringing in a guy who has a lot of opinions into a trio of 3 guys who have now played together for quite a while now. So it's like it is tough for Temp to like kind of get acclimated to the new squad, especially when he has so many opinions himself. So it's like I could see it both ways. I mean, I don't know. I'm surprised they decided on it, honestly, unless they're going to go and like really try out a handful of different guys.
True.
Because like that's the one advantage they currently have over it's seemingly the rest of the CDL is that they could potentially just keep trying out guys constantly, not have to officially sign them into contracts yet, and just see what happens. And just keep trying with different guys right now in the first few weeks of the year. And then eventually iron out their roster in late December, early January, probably. Like, they realistically don't even need to come to a decision until probably Christmas-ish time.
Yeah.
So they have some time to make a decision. I mean, Kenny was like tweeting about how he said he saw Cap on the timeline for the basically people's opinions about their scrims, about whether or not they were playing well, and about all these things about their team chemistry and things like that.
I'll just say this. I think their scrims, like from what I saw, like I guess I didn't see like these later in the game scrims with them, but like they seem to be doing like decent. Like they were holding their own against.
No, agree. I agree.
Like, and Temp was on it. Like I thought I was like, oh yeah, they're gonna be a decent team. Possibly could be in that top 4 range with Temp. But they just needed more time, and then it's just weird that like all of a sudden, I don't know, people are chalking their scrims to be like, oh, they're bad, and now Temp's being dropped. It's like, I don't think they're in a terrible place, to be honest. It just seems weird.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like I said, this trio of 3 is going to take their time, like getting good at the game. I don't expect them to be insane right off the rip. And so it's like, I'm just surprised that they don't have the patience with Temp, because I feel like he brings the most upside. So, I mean, they must just not have enjoyed the dynamic of the team. That must have been what the decision was based upon, right?
You would think so.
I mean, like, I doubt it would just be solely based off performance or solely based off of what they think the upside of him as a player is.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I mean, again, Temp's an acquired taste for some guys.
Yes.
He likes to have his opinion. He has a way about how he wants to play, and he's not going to change how he addresses things for anyone. So it's like, it is tough for some players to deal with, and if that's not how it works out, then I guess it's not going to work out. So, I mean, at this point, who do you think is most likely for them to play with as their 4th? I mean, there's a laundry list of guys that come to mind. Obviously, Draza is kind of like the forefront imagined player that would get the spot. But if he isn't the one, then who is it?
John. I'm always going to say
That's
John.
Sam's go-to for every team. It's John.
John, come on. I want him back in the league.
I could see John. I personally feel like it needs to be somebody Slasher, and I hesitate to say that Slasher can kind of like push around a little more. Like Slasher can have his opinion and really be like, no one really challenges his authority so much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the thought. I mean, again, like Temp and Slasher had played together in the past. So like it wasn't like they never played together. So it's just interesting that went that way. I mean, if you're LA, you're looking for either a sub or a flex, depending on what Kenny wants to play.
Yes.
And so if Kenny's willing to play AR, which in this game the ARs right now are pretty nice, so I would imagine most players would be okay with playing with an AR. I mean, what guys come to mind for you, Rex?
I mean, Draza. I feel like they're going to end up trying out Draza for this next one. He's already their sub. He's killing it in this Memorial tournament. And he's already been part of that squad before, and they went pretty far at champs with him. So I assume like it's going to do That's what I see happening.
Percent
is Draza
chance,
going
I
in
would give it
next.
like a solid 75% chance that Draws is going to be the one.
Definitely greater than 50% for sure.
Yeah.
Otherwise, John, maybe Asim, I could, maybe not. I don't know. Like, if it's not Draza, I honestly am getting it like at a loss.
Right.
Temp
I mean,
seemed like a shoe-in.
I know.
Yeah.
Just it was just like such a bombshell. Like, what in the world? Because with Asim too. Well, we'll talk about this later. Next.
Well, I mean, yeah, you know. Yeah, he's an interesting one.
Yeah, because
Potentially with that.
Yeah.
He could be an option. I think like Jerd, now that he's talked about, that could maybe be an option.
Yeah.
I don't know if that necessarily would fit in with their team much.
Yeah.
You know, then there's all the guys that are already on AM teams like GodRx, KiSMET, you know. Yeah, who knows what happens with Karma? That'd be very unlikely.
Karma would be so great.
That'd be crazy. I mean, again, for 100T, that would make a lot of sense for like them as a team, but I doubt that happens.
No,
but,
probably not.
yeah, there's not like an obvious option outside of Draza. So I would agree. I think Draza is most likely. I mean, any other thoughts on LA Thieves and how? I mean, what is your expectation with them with Draza?
I think they could make it work, honestly. Like, Draza would be that person that is like not. He hasn't proved a whole lot.
He looked good for a few events.
So like you're saying, Rex, you know, that is someone that Slasher can kind of take control. Not
coach up,
not bully around, obviously, but like
lead.
Yeah, lead. So I don't know. I honestly think that their team could be really, really solid, especially just with they've already played with each other before, and I don't know. I really hope this team does well, because this team needs to do well for the CDL to prosper. So please, I don't know, just do well. Be good.
I mean, do you see him as like a top 5? Top 6?
I'm confident saying top 6. But I won't go any higher than that right now.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel too. Like, they would hover around that 5th, 6th zone probably. But there's a lot of teams that are right in there, though. And when you think about like Toronto and the Rocker and New York and Mutineers, like, right? Would you really take him above? Would you take him above Toronto right now?
I think I would.
Gosh,
above Toronto, I think.
Yeah,
so,
above Toronto.
Mutineers, I don't know. Mutineers are kind of killing it in this Memorial tournament, and
yeah, they looked really good.
I take them
they
above
also have a
subliners.
team like Rocker out there is like 4 star-studded players. So like
Interesting. Above subliners? Yeah, Sam said he would take him above subliners. That's kind of bold.
I haven't been too impressed with subliners.
They haven't looked great
in scrims.
No,
I don't know.
They've been short one player. I'm not going to say they haven't been looking great, but I don't think they've been looking bad.
No, for sure.
Is a good segue.
Yeah.
Into our next topic.
Yeah. Fire away. Take the lead.
Hydra is back. Subliners.
At least for now.
For now. So Asim has been scrimming with these guys as their 4th, because Hydra has had some visa and COVID issues in France.
Yeah.
And so what CDL Intel tweeted is that they're going to be scrimming London, and Hydra is going to be scrimming from France, but then London is going to be scrimming with Zero, who is
playing from the UK.
From the UK.
So in theory, both teams have one guy who's gotten bad connection.
Yes. So that is going to be interesting. Like, how bad that ping is going to be. Again, like, I know it's with Zero's in the same situation, but it's going to be weird.
Certain UK guys, if they have fiber, can get decent connections in the United States. Like, you have to have fiber though, otherwise it's not going to happen. But some guys get some like sub 100. I think you can play on sub 100.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which because wasn't Slasher playing on 100 plus?
Yeah.
Whatever.
So who knows?
Yeah.
Or maybe once we get what's the SpaceX's
Starlink.
Starlink. Get some Starlink action, and who cares? At that point we'll all have insane internet. But so that'll be actually really interesting. I'm excited to see what happens there. Hopefully they stream it. We don't know if they're going to be streaming yet, but that would be ideal, so we can see how at least how it's going a little bit, and see how their team's playing together and stuff. So that'll be a blast. So be on the lookout for that if you guys listen to the podcast, depending on when that happens. So that would mean if if they get that figured out, Asim would find himself back in the AM scene.
Something.
This would be worst case for him.
Yeah.
Because for his best case scenario was that Hydra would have to miss like one event,
Yeah.
so he'd get signed officially to the team
Yes.
on as the substitute, and then but
Definitely.
maybe they sign him as a substitute anyway.
Yeah. Because like
I feel like they got to. Like
if they're doing
That'd
this,
be pretty
so
dirty.
well.
if they're doing this though, that means that like they're pretty confident that Hydra will be able to move back because they all have to play from the same location starting when the league starts, right? Like they have to all be playing from the same location.
Yeah.
So like they're probably thinking like at some point I have no idea what the legislation in France is like, but they must be thinking like, hey, they can bring him back here soon if they want to scrim with him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty bold to scrim with him, but then not know if he's coming back or not. I don't know. So yeah,
Right.
like it would be the safest option for them to just sign ASIM and just as a sub. Then ASIM could still play in the Challengers League if he wanted to.
Yeah.
But then that give them the fallback of, hey, if Hydra cannot come back, play with ASIM. I don't know.
Well, it also makes Asim's like a great bench player to have. To be honest, he's like so
He is.
selfless, and it's not even that he'd have to replace Hydra. He could replace anybody on that team, minus maybe Clayster, because I've never seen Asim really play in AR.
for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely minus
No,
Clayster.
yeah.
Yeah.
But like
Like
even Zuma, if Zuma's not performing, then Asim could step in, and you have
that
Hydra,
would be
Mac, and
something.
Asim. That sounds kind of nasty, right?
yeah. I always saw Pristine and ASIM as a very similar play style. Like just doing
they definitely
just doing
are.
the dirty work,
Mm-hmm.
For sure. And
So you have
they're
Mac
just
and
like,
Hydra as your slayers, and then you have Asim, who's like one of the better OBJs. Like,
that'd be pretty good.
that'd be interesting. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, let's move on to the Challengers type of like roster stuff. So, first of all, the Challengers Cup, the first Challengers Cup is this upcoming weekend. So that's they announced that it's happening. First Challengers Cup is basically December 5th, 6th. Is that what day that is?
Yes.
And very excited about that. I mean, basically, that's where you're going to find your pro points. That's where it's all going to begin for the Challengers. You got to keep your eyes on that. I'm definitely excited for it and looking forward to it, to say the least. Thoughts on the Challengers scene? I mean, we'll have the fact that the first Challengers Cup is before the scouting series is kind of interesting to me.
yeah.
That like, I thought maybe they was going to put everything off for a little while and kind of just put everything off. But I mean, there's going to be a GA festival going on this weekend with everything we're going to be talking about here later. But yeah, inside of the AM scene specifically, we're seeing a lot of them playing this weekend inside the Memorial Tournament. Brack, Proto, Exotic, Nagafin, they've been playing together. And then Jerd announced that he's now looking for officially for an amateur team. And so Paris, whatever happened there, screwed him over.
What is?
Yeah, seriously.
So, and then, so just wild. Thoughts on Challengers?
I
It's
mean,
gonna be
from what we saw, it seems like it's going to be super competitive, even more competitive than it was last year.
Yeah, it's crucial for teams, though. I mean, like when it comes to like the pro points, how it's going to set up everything for the year.
I cannot wait to watch it. Like seeing like the pretty much ex pros, you can call them. Like I thought Slack would be it, but it's looking like Slack's just going to be more Florida. But but yeah, no, like
Blast.
with Memorial, Blast and Parasite's team, Triumph's team with Fellow, and frick.
Well, yeah, with that whole squad, and then you also got like Sensor's
team,
Goonjar, Zed, and Dens,
and Temp,
which
coming back in.
Temp.
Yeah, see what happens with Temp. Like, because he's gonna have to put together a squad.
Yeah.
So it's just like Saints, Lacefield, Aches, and Insider playing.
Crazy.
And then obviously like Parasite Squad, KiSMET, Pander, Mox, GodRx. There's just some wild teams that will be coming up on for the Challengers Cup. And so I'm very excited to watch. We like legitimately anyone could win. And then the EU scene's gonna be just as hectic and crazy. So it's like, my word, I can't wait to see what happens and really set the scene for the scouting series and who's gonna get drafted inside the top, few rounds there. And who's going to play in that. And then even heading into the next, the 2Ks and the Challengers Cups moving forward. It's just massive. So Yeah, there's actually like legitimate stakes. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, when it comes to Paris, I mean, I guess we can throw that in here now.
We sure can.
All righty, we're throwing it in.
Let's go.
Welcome to What's Wrong with Paris.
Hey everyone, so this is Josh from the future here because this went a whole different direction than I think any of us thought it was going to go. So originally there wasn't much to say about Paris, but that changed about an hour and a half or 2 hours after we got done with the podcast. Oh my word. Boys, girls, ladies, gentlemen, KiSMET dropped a bomb on Twitter. CDL Intel just tweeted it like 10 minutes ago. I was working on the podcast. I checked Twitter and I'm like, yo, what just happened? And so this is what KiSMET said. I'm going to read it word for word. Okay. KiSMET said in a Twitch chat, he commented this. He said, look, Paris didn't sign me and told me to wait because they wanted to try and get the league to grant them access to play and compete from France and have a French host for matches like online. What? And then he said they're chalked. And then he said, and I know the team, like the current team. And he said they hit me up to come back. And I said no. And then he said not getting effed over. What? What in the world, dude? This was worse than I think we even thought. They're trying to get a French host, which means that they were going to try to have their whole team be European and all play from France. What? I mean, this is outrageous. Okay, so literally, I'm sorry for this long rant that's not going to be without Sam and Rex here, but I mean, come on, this is big news. I will talk a lot more about it next week for sure on the podcast, but at that point, it'll be already a little bit of old news. So, I mean, realistically, they're going to have to sign an All-American team probably. What? They're not going to get a European host. That's insane. That is absolutely insane. There's no way. You're not going to force, the American teams to play on 100+ ping the whole year. There's just no way. Unless you're playing from like a special facility that has some sort of insane connection to the United States. But even then, it wouldn't even, teams that are playing not from Dallas, it makes no sense. Realistically, if for my opinion, Paris just needs to sell. This is outrageous. The fact that they haven't tweeted in 47 days, which I'm going to edit out a lot of what we talked about because it's not really relevant now, but they haven't tweeted, I think, 47 days now. They are completely disconnected from the Call of Duty League and from what it means and from the community. They have a horrible brand at this point. Their brand is going to go nowhere. Their only way to make money would be based off of winning, but they're not going to win champs with whatever roster they're going to sign at this point. I mean, maybe they could be competitive and they could be a top, 8 team with the teams that they could potentially pick up. I mean, we've seen the tournament, the Memorial Tournament, and some of those AM teams have played pretty well. You could pick up this WestR team and maybe compete in the top 7, 8, 6 at some points in the year potentially. But it's like, dude, this Paris team is completely chalked. They should sell out their spot for as cheap as possibly be. And I mean, this is just outrageous. I don't really understand. They have no plan besides be as cheap as possible just to be in the league for the lulz. I don't even understand. And nothing else makes sense. So at this point, that is what is wrong with Paris. That's this segment right now. It's so bad. And KiSMET said no to a spot of some sort, a starting spot, a sub spot of sorts, because why in the world would you want that? And be on part of that team. You'd rather take a sub spot from another team with a base salary. KiSMET would hope that he can get like a substitute spot for Florida or New York or Chicago or Seattle, literally anyone else, and get a sub spot with them instead of having to play on a minimum salary for Paris. It's just not worth it. So there you go, guys. That is what is wrong with Paris this week. It's absolutely insane. So let's get right back to the podcast. What in the world, man? You can go on forever about what's wrong with Paris. But
sure can.
In other news, Rated this was wild. Rated
Random.
joined 100T as a Warzone player, joining the Tommy squad.
Yeah, wow.
So, T for now is not going to compete,
Nope.
as far as we know, and compete in Warzone tournaments. I mean, there are quite a few. It's insane how many Warzone tournaments there are.
Yeah.
So, I mean, shout out Rated. That's pretty cool for him to be in 100T.
Dope.
And then Enable tweeted it's official,
Sure did.
which is very interesting.
Mhm.
Thoughts,
But then
predictions.
Content creator, 100 Thieves.
What's weird though is New York
New York
replied
replied
with
with
the
the little
eye
eyes.
tweets. Yeah,
But
so
don't
it's like
they reply to like everybody about stuff?
Yeah, but I
they
think
might. Yeah.
I think Enable was baiting though, because then he replied to them and said, "Yo, where are the best places to shop in New York?"
Yeah.
Asking for a friend.
So
This is all bait at this point. I mean, they just know they're playing on the bait, which is big time, big brain plays. But yeah, I mean, 100T makes the most sense, but it could be any of the teams realistically. I feel like most teams would want Enable, as a content creator for them. So yeah,
has Enable been streaming Warzone? Maybe he's another Warzone pro.
I don't know if he has.
I have no idea.
He's been
I've
putting
been
out quite a
watching.
few videos on YouTube though. We've mentioned that before, but yeah. So that was part of the news.
Yep.
And other news, the last piece before we talk about the Memorial Tournament a little bit is the Esports Game of the Year.
Modern Warfare.
Modern Warfare?
Like what? Who votes on this?
What?
I mean, it did really well for its first season. Modern Warfare.
Yes.
But Esports
So, like, you
Game
can't
of the
deny
Year.
that.
Like, give it to Rogue Company or something, not Modern Warfare, bro.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
like they should just give it to Warzone.
Well, yeah, that would have made way more sense than Modern
Yeah.
Warfare as
But
like
then
a
that would
whole.
just piss me off because they would have been calling Warzone at Esport and
More of
not.
an esport than Call of Duty.
Yeah, that would just piss me off.
I mean, I bet
But,
they like put the two together and like, basically sums it up to the same.
Yeah,
Like, big
exactly.
number one at that
That's what
point.
it is. It's just funny. It's more of a meme than anything at that point. But let's talk about the Memorial Tournament a little bit. So this has been going on, the Pharaoh Memorial Tournament this weekend with a ton of teams. Basically, our only look at what it's going to look like for AM teams to play against pro teams basically the rest of this year.
Yep.
It's going to be basically our only look at that. And it's been a ton of fun with a lot of surprises.
A lot.
A ton of surprises. I mean, again, this is a massive tournament. The far majority of the top AM teams played, and the majority of the pro teams played
Yes.
in it as well. So, I mean, what matchups, do you want to list off some of the matchups that were most surprising or most interesting, or the ones that, were the most relevant to us?
Yeah. So just to name a few of the surprises.
Yeah.
So Empire lost to WestR in the winners bracket. So
Yeah.
but they're still going on, I think, because they just lost to
Mutineers.
Mutineers.
Mhm.
But yeah, so they lost to WestR in winners. LAG lost to Triumph in losers. I think they got knocked down by Empire maybe.
They
And
did,
then-
I believe, yeah.
And then Optic lost to Parasite and Company. and then lost to Empire. So it's like all these AM teams are knocking off the pros.
Mhm.
Obviously, like when we're talking about this, it is early on. But Parasite, there's a stream clip where he said they only scrimmed for 2 days prior to this. So like they're kind of claiming like, hey, we've had just as little as prep as the pros. So it's like, could this mean something? Like could this like point towards what's going to happen? Later on in the CDL, where these AM players are gonna be picked up. I don't know, but like it was pretty crazy how many pro teams were being knocked off by.
Yeah. And
by the
another
AM
long
squads.
run by Parasite, like this beating Optic and like making a huge run in that tournament. But I think only two pro teams made it. So in the final like 4 teams, I think only 2 pro teams made it, which was Empire and
FaZe and the Mutineers, right?
Or not, yeah, FaZe and Mutineers, I mean.
Yeah.
Those are the only 2 pro teams that made it in like the top 4, and then the other 2 are WestR, and then the team name is
Big Dogs.
Big Dogs, which was Draza, Pro Loot, and 2 other players.
Yeah.
Yeah, and WestR was Zaptius, Gravity, Venom, and Paul X.
Mm-hmm.
So
The old Phase Academy.
Some of the FaZe Academy.
Yes.
Yeah, mix of WestR / FaZe Academy kind of. But yeah, no, that's actually wild. I mean, the Optic versus Parasite match really wasn't even that close. I mean, Parasite squad kind of just took it to them the whole way through.
Mm-hmm.
They looked really, really good. And some of the other matches, I mean, the Mutineers smoked Empire.
So
It wasn't even close.
Mm-hmm.
And LAG lost real bad to that Triumph team. Like it was like 3-0, right? Hot 3-0. I'm like not ideal. I'm not ideal if you're LAG there. I mean, Triumph is a good team. Great team.
Won the
But people were kind of dogging really bad on LAG. But I mean, we did talk about this. I mean, the fellow Royalty Standy General team was going to be a good team. Like that was just going to be a fact. And they looked pretty good so far. I mean, I don't know, man. This all sets up for this weekend, and overall, this doesn't even matter as much as what this upcoming weekend does. It's not even close.
Yeah.
Considering that you're starting your run to playing in the Elite Series in the amateur scene this weekend with Pro Points.
Yep.
So that's the big debate and the first hurdle to get over for teams. But yeah, I mean, other results that kind of anything else that potentially surprised you guys? Yeah, I mean, again, like you said, a lot of the AM scene players are still figuring things out and like Scrimming as well. And the GAs are just a complete mess, which we're about to talk about here.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
I mean, it's still like pretty early on, and like it's kind of known like these AMs at the beginning of these games, like they just play way more than the pros are playing, but eventually pros catch up and then pros start surpassing them like they have than the previous, in past squads.
Yep.
I think this really just like cements like how excited I am for just watching the challenger scene and in general. Like it's going to be such a good year. Again, if it gets broadcast right and gets enough attention, I just really hope like this again is very key to grow the CDL as a whole, is like having a good challengers scene and being able to like prosper these players into pros. So
right. I mean, like again, early on in the years, like you said, like it just shows that the skill gap is not as massive as it sometimes feels, especially at the beginning of the years.
Yeah.
Like you said, Rex, as the year goes along, the pros just fine tune things just to a way further extent than amateurs ever can.
Yeah.
And that's what separates pros.
Yeah.
But like for now though, the AMs are dangerous. And those guys they thrive off S&D tournaments and like all these wacky, crazy things. And it's like in best of 3, I mean, this is a best of 3s.
Yes.
You have to, or is it best of 5? No, best of 5?
It was best of 5.
Best of 5.
Oh, yeah, it was a best of 5, right? Because they were playing. I'm dumb. But I mean, the S&Ds, the AMs that's where they thrive in those types of situations. So that's kind of how it goes. But yeah. So let's move on to our Cold War discussion here.
Yeah.
And talk about this. Let's hit the drop here and get right into it.
This is the price we pay for what we do.
Alrighty. COD Cold War. Obviously, it's not even as much as a Cold War discussion. It's going to be a GA discussion at the end of the day because the GAs were so highly debated this week, to say the least. So let's open up the segment with that.
Yeah.
Overall, the NA list has gotten pretty extensive. Because the CDL hasn't updated their rule set at all yet. And so we're currently at no TAC rifles, no AK-47s in the EU.
Yep.
But NA decided AK-47s were fine. And then no gearhead, no perk greed, no lawbreaker. Or I mean, lawbreaker's allowed, but you can't use overkill. So
like no
then what's the point?
Yeah.
So and then no Molotovs, no smokes in respawn. Which is, that was a whole debate.
Yeah.
And then no score streaks, no thermals, no lasers. And they also added in the SOCOM attachment /KGB. The KGB, which is like nearly a silencer. So that overall. So thoughts on GAs currently? Where are you at with this? Rex?
I think they seem pretty good. I think the AK-47 one with the EU is strange. And then smokes has been a hot topic in COD for a while. And
yes.
Like how much you GA them, because it's never fun, I feel like, to just completely eliminate smokes because like it's such a tactical, like probably the most tactical utility thing we have, and just to get rid of it, it's like you're just eliminating that's the brains part of the game.
Yeah.
So it's hard to like limit that. But I get it, and I think I'm okay with it. And then the score streaks thing, I get it, and I just wish they would make it so it resets on death, and then I would hope they would use it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was I saw an interesting tweet from Slasher and Aches about smokes, and so
Slasher was going off.
So there was that clip of, what was it, Blast, or someone was sniping on Garrison.
It was Blast, right?
Blast was sniping
I
on
think
Garrison.
so.
Whoever was sniping that left
But
side.
currently there is sniping is semi-viable off the rip in hardpoint.
Basically, the sniper was holding down that left lane.
Hearing what I'm saying
completely, and so then General retweets it and be like, if this is the case, I'm running a sniper. Like it's so dumb that we're banning smokes. And Slasher was like, basically railed on General, like, imagine having to rely on smokes to break a hill, and then X comes in and is like just like they both just railed on it and like said like, you should be able to break a hill without smokes and not have to run into the hill, like basically stop wasting your life and like just head rush into the hill, wait a few seconds, set up, and then break. So
right,
it was interesting. I guess I was more on the side of like, like smoke should be allowed to break hills, but is there
the auto aim factor right now is pretty bad. I mean, like it's really fluky with the auto aim inside the smokes and how it plays, and it does feel kind of gimmicky, which I totally understand. So I feel like it does need some tuning. Shout out Shady Bacon, my man Shady Bacon.
He just got roasted by Slasher.
Slasher was pissed. So Nick, my man Shady Bacon, buddy ref for me and mine, no free shout outs, but he does a podcast as well called Another Esports Podcast.
Okay.
And he called out Slasher because Nick, Shady Bacon, my man, he's a fellow Shady for Shady Nero, but he's let's call him a fundamentalist, a COD purist when it comes to GAs, and he wants as few GAs as possible. So he gets annoyed that like smokes are getting GA'd and smokes thermals and like which eliminates cold blood. But anyway, but he replied to Slasher, and then Slasher kind of came at him with his whole argument that you were just talking about, and he was like, from reading. Slasher said about Nick, from reading this response, it seems you, sir, are the one who struggles to use their brain. Have a good night, Shady Bacon.
It's never good when you get name called in the tweet.
No.
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah, but it was just tough. I do agree that I think overall smokes make COD more interesting. They make respawn overall more interesting, gives the team more flexibility to make plays.
Yeah.
And I think it makes it more fun to watch as a whole. Yeah. Again, nade smoke spam is annoying.
Yeah, like limit the smoke usage.
Of course,
but,
one person has it.
But like being able to like cut off a lane for a brief second, I think it makes it like being able to use that smoke tactically.
Yeah.
I think it is a skill gap.
Yeah. There are some certain maps though where you like for example Crossroads where you can spawn in and immediately throw the smoke and it's in play. Yeah. So you could in theory throw a smoke every 4, 5, 6 seconds. You know, and I think that's where Slasher has his problems is when people are using it to spam.
Absolutely.
And you can do that on like maps like Crossroads. But again, you could then counter with saying put your trophies in the right spots, and that's kind of what General was saying to Slasher. It was like, if you place trophies in the right spots, it's going to make the game play fine. So that is the debate.
So there's so many things. So like, I guess I used to be a COD like purist when it came to GAs. Like I would like let the league decide what's banned and go with that, and then do everything in your power to win the game. And that's like the most like, quote unquote, like competitive. But as I've like gotten older, I've come to the point where it's like, I guess I do understand, like the score streak GA right now, like it kind of just makes sense to have that.
Right, you have to.
You're just gonna have a million of these streaks. Like it's like if we didn't have that GA'd, then it's just gonna be just a cluster of things happening.
Annoying.
It'd be completely uncompetitive.
Like it'd be too crazy. It's like you have to GA it, or like, but you would hope that the league would be like, okay, that's banned. You know, they would make these decisions, but they don't. So you have to make it for yourself.
Right, and that's what doesn't make sense to me is I don't really understand why the league holds back on this and like just holds out for no reason. Like last year, for how long it took for the official rules to get updated for thermals to be banned or like things like that. Like it's just annoying, and maybe it's Activision just telling them no, you're not allowed. Like we will not let you put this add this into your rules. But at that point, it's just an ego contest between Activision and the pros about what type of game they want to play, and it's just like, dude, it completely ruins it for people who are trying to play GBs and things like that because people are using silencers and using, you know, the different muzzles and using those types of things that don't feel very competitive inside of GBs, and then they're running 3 smokes and they're running everyone has 4,000 trophies on the map and
4 per hill.
Yeah, like right now, like literally, I've been running engineer in GBs in S&D.
Yeah,
because it's like people throw so many trophies that you just like, oh, there's a guy back on the cliff.
Yep.
It's like because there's so many trophies on the
Parasite's
map.
Parasite's running engineer. He used it in the tournament.
Oh, he was today? I didn't even notice that.
Yep.
And so it's just like
too.
it's a little ridiculous, but yeah, and I've seen pros using it in Respawn as well, which again that definitely makes sense. So overall, I just hope the CDL takes some action. And we can come to a point where most of these things become actual rules because they definitely need to. I think perk greed is so dumb. Like it needs to be ruled out. Like you shouldn't be able to have 6 perks playing inside hardpoint.
Yeah, that seemed really weird to me too. Like I don't mind gunfighter, honestly. Like
I don't either.
Like have 8 attachments, that's fine. You know, I don't care. But 6 perks is like
right. And like most people in GBs right now are running it because it's like, duh, why wouldn't you? Like it's so dumb. And then like all the other things just blows my mind, like laser sights and things like that. like these things should be banned in competitive because it's like hip firing isn't competitive.
And
it's like it's just not.
It sucks. It's like because so like they've made it their teams are limited to 3 trophies, and like that still is probably kind of a lot because you can still earn them pretty fast. But the fact they don't even have a secondary thing that's even viable to run. People are just running like assault packs.
You ran the assault pack that did not use it. Yeah.
It's like they should have had something else. Like how did they not see something like this happening where people are just throwing 1 million trophies down?
I know. It's just such a lack of foresight from Activision, just from Treyarch.
You could make the argument for Jammer, right? So like there was a talk on Twitter. It's like if you have someone running Jammer and like when you need to break kills, throw the Jammer down.
Shout out Shady Bacon.
And
that's where he stands.
And then you don't have to worry about the trophies. But I don't think the Jammer you can throw like you can throw a trophy. The trophies you can throw so far.
You can yeet the trophies, dude. It's
wild.
wild.
Them. The Jammer, I'm pretty sure, is like a set down thing, so it's like harder to like. You have to really put yourself in danger to make it worthwhile.
I just feel like a lot of our problems would be fixed if we're gonna mention it before, but trophies moved to tacticals. Wow, that'd be nice.
Oh, it'd be so nice.
Very nice. But
then basically every team just runs 1, maybe 2.
2 and 2, 2 smokes, 2 trophies or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Like a Semtex smoke and 2 trophies. Yeah, like anything like that would be great.
Oh, it'd be so nice if you could only have 1 tactical, and all of the lethals plus. Oh, why COD?
Yeah, why do we need to put that as a field upgrade? It makes no sense to me.
And then give everybody 1 nade and 1 tack. Oh, my word, dude, drives me crazy.
Great.
The one area where like I feel like not having smokes in Respawn, playing offense on control. So let's talk control. Playing offense on control without smokes is like it's like being in the front lines of the Civil War.
It's impossible.
You're just pounding your head
dude,
into nothing.
You are running to your death.
Yeah, it's insane. Especially on like something like Checkmate, even like they can like set up and like you're basically like it's just
Moscow.
It's insane. Moscow. It's so unfortunate.
Well, the thing is, the hills take pretty long to capture, so I feel like that would need to be like upped. That's my biggest gripe. It's like it takes so long for something to happen.
It definitely does.
Up the time limit to actually be able to capture a point, like the first
right, and
point.
because they're spawning you still pretty far out, and so like those issues like they're magnified because of that.
Yeah,
and then and then you're just getting bodied trying to sprint into the hill.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, dude, right now on like especially on like Moscow and other maps, it's literally feels like a defense wins every time type situation, and like sniping is still viable in Control. Because like you have to just get that pick, and this was I literally brought this up like maybe in the alpha or it was really early. I brought this up like that the game felt like maybe sniping could be viable in Control or something like that. But yeah, it's wild. I don't know. I mean, are you worried about the Control game mode at this point? Are you going to still give it some time?
I think Control is not in a great place right now. I honestly find Control pretty boring. More boring than Domination was in Modern Warfare. I'm not gonna lie.
See, I think it's still better than Dom. Like I hated Dom. Like I did not like Dom at all.
I did too, but it's slow and like this game, like.
But I think
it's not like Black Ops 4 Control.
My thing is like Dom was like just the game mode itself sucks, but I think Control can be fixed to where it's good.
I agree. I think they will.
Like you fix the spawns, like like if you're referencing Clacer's tweet.
Did he mention overtime in that tweet?
He didn't. Here's what he said. He said, honestly, there's a couple Narnia spawns that will be hopefully cleaned up. And with 45-second capture time, offense becomes much easier. Got to figure out how to win offense, not just say it's chalked defense wins. But that's why I'm more hopeful is that it can be fixed to where it's like really good. Like Dom was just, I hate the like game mode as a competitive game mode.
Oh,
I don't mind as a pub.
Too. Don't get me wrong.
But
I don't like Dom either.
Yeah, I have faith. I'm on the optimism side here.
See again. This is what I was worried about with no score streaks in a Control match because, like in BO4, you had specialists and score streaks to use to break a hill, and like that's how you broke hills and won games in Control. Was using your specialists and your streaks better than the other team. Like think about how many teams won on Arsenal because they had a Hellstorm or a Lightning on that B capture out by the statue. Like that's how you win Control, and not having either of those things in Black Ops Cold War has been a big problem for making Control less interesting and more of just a straight up camp fest and just like I agree, Rex. It's not good right now.
No.
I think
I'm worried. State. No,
I feel like the locations of the control points are okay. Yeah, like Clacer said, the crazy spawns. I think the time limit to capture that first point, you need more time to do it, and then also faster to capture a point. And then I don't know about lives. Lives might be in a good spot, but maybe
lives
less.
Are probably fine.
Maybe less lives.
Maybe 5 less.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they literally copy and printed it from BO4, but the game competitively just does not play anywhere anything like really BO4. Similar to BO4 in like that regard. Now that we're playing 4v4 and no specialists and no score streaks, like it's just nowhere even in the same like area right now.
It's not fun to watch. I'm not gonna. I
agree. It's near the Dom levels of Modern Warfare when it comes to interest right now, and it needs some big time fixes in the next 6 weeks. But the problem is the AMs are going to be playing on that this weekend, and they're playing on it right now. It's not ideal.
No.
So we got a little bit of ways to go still, and this is why ranked play was not coming out before Christmas because there was too many X factors for them to release it early. So, okay, want to have a little map discussion real quick, and then get into our Dynasty draft.
Okay.
So, I just want to hear what your thoughts are on all of the competitive maps at this point. Where are you at with this? What's your favorite map? We talked about it a little bit, I think, previously, but now that we've had another week to go, thoughts on the competitive maps? Are you still in the same spot? What's your favorite mode and map combination so far? Because I would say mine is Crossroads S&D, but I haven't played it 4v4 too much. I played it 4v4 maybe twice. I've mostly been playing in 3s and 2s, but it's been a blast in 3s and 2s.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoy watching because again I haven't played any 4v4 like GBs.
Respawn.
I've just played like
S&D.
pubs for this.
Liar, you did play it. You played S&D with us.
Well, I'm talking about Crossroads Hardpoint.
Oh, specifically
Crossroads Hardpoint. I actually really enjoy watching that.
It is fun to watch, dude.
Really cool. I love like the close quarters. The spawns seem to make sense from what I can tell. Like if you hold a certain spot,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I think that's going to be a great map to play.
Who would have thought that a map smaller than
I know.
frequency would
weird.
be in a competitive rotation?
Super weird. But yeah, I hope to be able to play some GB respawns, obviously. But yeah, no, that's going to be, I think, a really fun one and probably a favorite.
I was going to say Crossroads Hardpoint 2, to be honest. Yeah. I really enjoy that. And then also, for some reason, Garrison S&D, I kind of like.
Really?
It's fun to watch. It's really
fun.
interesting.
Maybe that's what it is. Like, I just find it really fun to watch, too. But
it's frustrating to play.
It is. Top Green is just like, holy crap.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Crossfire is really an interesting map.
Mm-hmm.
And like Miami S&D, I've actually become like kind of liking it now.
Oh my God, it is kind of Miami S&D. Yeah, it is kind of fun.
It's kind of interesting. Like
interesting
the rounds
is the right word. Yeah.
Yeah, because like the timing with the spawns, they did a pretty good job of like timing the rush routes and things. Where like it's pretty fair offensively and defensively, even though there's some weird lines of sight. Competitively, I'm not exactly sure how the meta is gonna change. Like it could be one of those maps where I like it at the beginning, but then when people get really good at it, it could be really annoying.
Terrible. Yeah.
Because of the lines of sight. But like right now, because people don't really know all the spots yet, it doesn't feel too bad. But
I definitely enjoy playing around like the garage area. Like
the whole B side.
I like always get scared playing around the beach area where it's like there's just open lines of sight. It's like holy crap, you know what's happening. But yeah, no, I could see it being a potentially fun map, but it'll be scary.
I mean, maybe it'll be kind of like Arklov S&D was probably my favorite S&D to watch, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean Arklov was goated.
Same sort of thing, which is like this massive S&D map, so like really slows everybody down, and like each kill really, really means something.
Yeah. I mean, I would say definitely Crossroads and Garrison gotta be the best two maps, right? At this point, like they're definitely the best two maps.
Yeah,
probably.
Especially, I mean, Hardpoint and S&D both play well on them, and that's all that really matters.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Moscow's probably a close third.
Moscow has been, the bomb sites and the B bomb is in that back building, and I just hate it.
It is strange.
It doesn't feel good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I wish it was in the street.
Yes,
like,
the street for sure. Like behind the statue. Yes, that would be a much better spot.
It'd be tough. It'd be interesting, and it's a little bit harder to watch. But yeah, I think that'd be a little bit more fun overall. I don't know. I'm a little conflicted on it, but I'm not a big right now. I thought I was gonna love Moscow, but I'm not a big fan of it right now. In either Hardpoint or S&D.
Hardpoint too.
Yeah.
But I think we can like breathe a little like fresh air of like, okay, like not all the maps are going to be like, Moscow isn't going to be like the only competitive map. Like the other ones are definitely viable and like, they're okay.
I would classify Crossroads currently as a good competitive map. It's like actually interesting and fun, and there's different ways to play it, and like I think it's good.
What do you think of a shaved down cartel? Shaved Bush's cartel,
dude. I want to see.
Even then, you don't think so?
Hashtag shave the bush.
Shave the bush. Bushes. I think I truly love the layout of the map.
This episode is sponsored by Dollar Shave Club.
Lawnmower 3.0.
Lawnmower 3.0.
Shave those cartel bushes.
I would like to see Cartel played more, but I understand the whole grass thing is like so like not competitive.
So annoying.
But like it is a fun map to like visually.
It is.
Yeah?
Josh is not in the same boat as us.
No.
You don't like it?
No, not at all. I don't think it's gonna ever really be a thing.
Okay.
And Armada was just hot garbage from the beginning, so thank goodness we got rid of that quick.
Yeah.
So bad. But yeah, so all right, I think we could probably head into our little Dynasty draft here and get
2.0.
Is it feeling drafty in here anymore?
A little bit.
Window open?
Just
I don't know,
bit.
but let's hit that drop and get right into it. Let's go. Alrighty, baby. The Dynasty. Bring it on. So how this is going to go down, the goal of this draft is we are going to be trying to draft the greatest dynasty to ever exist in Call of Duty, but we're going to be kind of competing against each other, of course. So we actually did this last year, and I thought it was pretty interesting, to say the least. Going back, time traveling here a little bit, actually. But so last year, it's crazy because like a guy like Shotzi didn't even make the list.
Yeah,
Which again,
did.
I mean,
He's on Sam's list.
Oh, I have him.
oh, you do?
I do have him.
Oh yeah, you have him. I forgot.
I sure
Oh
do.
wow, Rex took Illy 2 overall. So what happened is this is the order last year. It went Simp 101, Illy 102, Formal 103, Shotzi 104, Priesta 105, Octane, Gunless, Apathy, Arcides, Karma, Crim, Dashy, Scump, GodRx, Kenny, Dylan, Abisi, Slasher, Attach, Clayster, Temp. Was the order.
Sure was.
And so, I mean, obviously I won that one. That was just a landslide.
Way,
And
dude,
so
I won. You guys both had people who got dropped or retired.
you have
GodRx.
GodRx.
Well, GodRx played up until champs, and if we remember right, GodRx was really good for his team, and that was the big brain pick.
I had people who got dropped, as in Dashy, who's on.
And you had Gunless. You had Gunless. Oh, I forgot. You had Gunless and Dashy.
Oh yeah, you mean 2 incredible picks? My
they
bad.
both got dropped from their teams.
I
Simp,
mean, I
Octane,
had the
Gunless,
ro-
Dashy, Scump, Slasher, Attach. Pff, easy dubs.
I had the rookie of the year, so you know what I'm
You
saying.
did have rookie, but I had Illy, I had Priesta, Apathy, Crim, GodRx, Abizi, and Clayster. None of my people.
I had Formal.
Why did you
bro.
emphasize GodRx?
I had Formal.
because it was
bro.
the big
Come
brain
on.
pick for that year.
Come on. Give it to me.
I don't think
Formal.
GodRx will be so great this year, but last Modern Warfare, I saw it from a mile
Yeah,
away.
yeah. I mean, hey, but with that said, that's why it gets interesting, because this is a long-term, this is like putting our stakes on certain players here, and I do love steak. It tastes great. So
Sure does.
with that said, Sam, you've got the first pick here. I've got second, Rex goes 3-4, and then 3, and then Rex has the first pick of the second round. It's a little snake draft action here. So I'm very interested to see who your 101 is going to be in a dynasty draft.
Yeah.
Who are you going to take?
I mean, bring my boy back. Shotzi.
You got Shotzi.
He's got a long career ahead of him.
Makes sense. I'm trying to make sure I got this to work here. Like unlike last time where that's a TV.
Caca.
Okay,
So-
good.
Hey,
updated.
it's updated.
So who's second pick?
I got second pick here, and I mean I feel like I got to go with the pick. You
The
know,
same
I mean,
one as last time.
I mean, yeah, go round 2 for 2. I'm gonna take Simp, man,
There you go.
at 102. We're going 7 rounds deep, by the way, so giving us like a few bench spots.
Yeah.
I thought. I mean, there's so many good players.
Why
We may as
not?
well go 7 rounds deep, take a
All right.
dynasty draft, and take some shots on some guys. So, Rex, you've got the next 2 picks
I get
here.
the next 2 picks. All
You
right,
do
I'm
get the
gonna
next 2
take
picks.
Illy as my first pick.
Interesting.
My next
Really?
pick is going to be Abizi.
Interesting. I would not have thought that from you.
Illy, dude, I think Illy's going to be one of the best players in the game this year.
Do you?
I do.
Well, I think that makes my choice pretty easy then,
Yeah.
because I'm going with Envoy at 10 or I guess 205 here.
Okay.
So, or I guess the 202. The 5th pick overall. I think it's about as confusing as it gets. So, yeah, Sam. I mean, I think
Interesting.
Envoy. I got Simp. I'm starting off my draft with Simp and Envoy. I'm pretty happy with my first 2 picks here.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. I mean, I'm trying to build obviously you want to consider roles at least to a little bit of an extent here.
Yeah.
Otherwise your team's going to have some troubles. So
Yes.
that is something to consider moving
Yeah.
forward. You got the next 2 picks here, Sam.
Okay. Octane.
Okay.
Now here's an interesting one. Very interesting one.
Yeah. There's 4 picks between you and your next pick here. So
Mhm.
who's going to get selected?
I'm gonna kind of now. I think these 2 could work, even though he just switched to main AR.
Yeah. Makes
Arcides.
sense. Yeah. I was assuming.
Interesting.
Over Celia, man.
Oversell him.
Well, I feel like that makes my pick pretty easy
Pretty easy.
to get here.
Yeah.
I'm going Celium with my 3rd pick, starting Simp, Envoy, and Celium. Feeling pretty good
That's
about
pretty
that
strong.
one.
Pretty strong.
Rex, you are on the board now with your 3rd and 4th picks. This is where we're at currently for you guys who are watching on YouTube. Oh, that's taking a second. There we go. There we are. This is where we currently are for you YouTube folks.
Okay, so I'm calling my Illy my flex. I'm calling him Abizi kind of like my sub. OBJ.
These next two determine your starting four.
Yeah,
Mhm,
they do.
These next two. So I need an AR player.
I don't think you have to say who you're starting for. You could make your starting four out of anyone
Okay.
if you want to.
Yeah,
Like, if you feel like there's an SMG you feel like you'd want to snag or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. In case the league goes back to 5v5 again one day, you never know. Maybe 7v7 at this rate. Who knows?
Terrible. Oh, my gosh.
You good over there, Rex?
Yeah. I'm thinking.
Sounds good. Take your sweet time.
I guess I'm going to take.
He's
Hook.
tilting already.
I'm going for Hook.
Okay.
Makes
One of
sense.
my picks.
The Illy Hook combo, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. It works. I wish I could
Dang.
have grabbed Shotzi, but I don't quite got it. And I'm still missing an AR, man, and I'm struggling with it. But I think to really round out this team of a Illy, a Beezy, Hook, we need some sort of like leader, right?
Mm-hmm.
So of course,
Slasher.
I'm going to take Dashy.
Tej. Oh, Dashy.
Really?
Dashy wants to play AR.
That's so
I can
un-Rex
yoink that.
brand.
leader?
Nah, he's not my leader.
Oh, okay.
That's so off-brand for Rex.
It
I made a
is.
split-second decision to change.
Wow. Well, now I'm conflicted. Oh man. Okay. I feel like simp on voice selling. I don't think I'm gonna take my AR here because you're not gonna take an AR. You already have two. So I'm not gonna take my AR here. So what's the point? What's the point of that? So with those guys in consideration, there's a handful full of guys who I like a lot here, but I'm gonna go with one that's been tried and true the past, 2-3 seasons. Priesta is. I mean, I've got Simp, Cell, and Priest. I've got 3 of the 5 phase guys from last year. But I mean, I'm rocking Simp, Envoy, Celium, and Priesta for my first 4 picks here.
Mhm.
Feeling pretty good about that in a dynasty draft. Ooh, baby. Rex.
You're crazy if you think yours is better than mine. I'm just say that. Ilya, Beezy, Hoop,
What?
Dashy. Come on.
Come on, bro. Mine's
Come on.
frying yours, dude.
I have
Frying.
Ilya and a Beezy. That's all I need on my team.
Sam, who you got here, dude?
Oh man, this is where it gets kind of weird.
I feel like there's 2 or 3 guys that fit pretty nice with your squad, though.
Mm-hmm. Definitely want a sub.
Yeah.
Or flex.
Okay.
I'm
Then
trying
who-
to think here. Some people that come to my mind.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you think they're gonna get taken in the next 4, then
Yeah.
fire away. Who you got?
Kenny comes to mind.
Okay. That makes sense.
Man, I really wanted Dylan to be good.
Oh yeah.
Last
Yeah.
year.
Didn't pan out for you.
No, sure
I really hope Dylan U-turns it this year and just starts dominating again. That'd be great. I'd be all in on that.
I'm gonna go with. I can't remember. Did we say we had? No, we didn't even have him on there.
Who?
No, we did.
What?
Gunless.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking more like he might be flexing now.
Yeah.
Because now that we actually saw more of them playing this week with
Mhm.
scrims,
Mhm.
it's looking like they might actually be flexing. But are you gonna go gunless?
I'm gonna go gunless.
Okay.
And then I get another pick too.
Yeah, you're rocking the next pick too.
Yeah.
You've already got. So what's your team right now?
So right now I've got Shotzi, Octane, Arcides, and Gunless.
Yep.
And so
That's all of us through our first 4 picks.
Yeah. So now I would probably consider those a good starting 4, honestly, if you have Gunless as sub and then Arcee's running flex.
Yep.
And Octane main AR. So for 5th, I think I might just go ahead and grab Kenny.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Interesting pairings there. You got a really interesting team.
I do.
Okay. All right. So I think I'm gonna snag my AR in case Rex gets some ideas.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I mean, it's between 2 guys. It's between Slasher. Well, it's between 3 guys, really.
Okay.
Let's be honest. It's between Slasher, Formal, and Skies.
Mm-hmm.
the 3 ARs kind of like left on the board.
Yep.
Again, because there's only 3 of us, ARs are kind of coming at a premium right here because there's so many good ones out there. And it's not an easy decision, let me tell you. I got Simp, Envoy, Celium, and Priesta.
Yeah.
I feel like Slasher would try too hard. Like, he'd almost be like too overbearing for this group of guys. Like,
Could be.
I need someone who's going to be more just with the boys. So that leaves me with, I think, either Formal or Skies, okay? But I do want a guy who brings some experience. A nice face,
Nice
really.
face.
Yeah,
Just handsome.
A nice face.
Nice,
Just
handsome.
the vibes.
Oh,
We're going with Formal here.
you cannot go wrong.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Yep. And I mean, Sam, this was your doing.
I know.
If you wouldn't have drafted Arcees, I wouldn't have drafted Formal
absolutely.
because I would have definitely taken Arcees there with my pick. But
Yeah.
this is your doing. All right.
So,
Feel bad.
I get.
Is that tier I see?
Yes.
Yeah, Rex, you got your 5th and 6th picks here. How you doing?
All right, so I'm running with Illy, who's gonna be probably my flex. A BZ, probably my flex sniper is gonna be Illy. Got a BZ, my sub, entry OBJ, Hook. Again, sort of an OBJ-ish, but maybe a BZ can go to that Slayer role. Then I have Dashy, who's gonna be my AR. Can also pick up a sniper if he needs to. So I guess I'm missing sort of like my, maybe missing my Slayer sub. So I guess I'm gonna go with, and part of me wants to pick up TJ Haley, but Dashy on the same squad doesn't technically yield the best results as we've seen so far. So I'm gonna take a wild one with this. I think I'm gonna go with Hydra.
Whoa, going with the first rookie pick of the year here.
I mean, I got a solid 4. If somebody drops off, I can get someone else in there. And Hydra seems
interesting.
I got to get my wild card pick with Hydra, and I get another pick, and with that pick,
man,
I guess I'm gonna take Scump.
Yeah, I feel like you needed to take Scump with that roster.
Yeah.
Yeah, that fits. So you're rocking Illy, Abizi, Hook, Dashy, Hydra, Scump. Very interesting.
I'm very versatile.
Yeah, that is facts. For sure.
That is facts.
There's definitely, just again, the AR premium right now, the ARs are kind of falling down the list. Obviously, talent-wise, Skies and Slasher should have been taken by now, but it's
at this point,
they don't really fill our roles very well. So, I mean, there's a few guys I'm looking at here, and I'm pretty content with a lot of them. I would say Attach is on my radar here. Scraps is on my radar here. Zuma, Kleenex, Cammy, Major Maniac. I'm looking at those types of guys probably here this pick. Awakening potentially. Ooh.
I almost snagged Awakening.
Ooh. Because I feel like he's got the upside to be a steal in the 6th round. I'll snag Awakening here in the 6th. It kind of has an upside, late shot. Rex just took Hydra.
I just took Hydra with my same guy.
I'll take Awakening kind of as the upside shot. So,
yeah.
All right, Sam, you're up.
Yeah. So I've got the last 2 here.
Who are your thoughts? What's your thought process? These are your last 2 picks. You can lay them all out there.
I really was impressed with both Cammy and Kleenex.
Yeah.
I think I see more upside in Kleenex than Cammy.
Probably.
So for 6, I'm going to go Kleenex.
Okay. All right. That's respectable.
Not a bad pick. Kleenex could surprise us.
And then 7, I need someone that just needs to be there,
He just needs to be there. Oh no. I mean, Clay and Crim still on the board. Slasher still on the board. Skies still on the board.
Yep.
Mac Melts, TJ.
Yep. Mac.
Yep.
Zuma, Attach.
Cammy,
some
Alex,
great players out there still.
Dylan Codd.
Dylan was better. I really do. I really hope he surprises this year.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. So who you going with?
Who am I going with? I am going to go with. This is me stalling.
Yeah, it is.
Attach.
Okay.
I like the attach.
That's
pick.
reasonable.
Yeah, you needed a sub too.
Yeah, that's what I would have gone with if I was you too.
Yeah.
So who's your final team there?
So finally, we got Shotzi, Octane, Arcides, Gunless, Kenny, Kleenex, and Attach.
Okay. Yeah, that's a pretty decent team. It's like third. All right. So I'm rocking currently Simp, Envoy, Cell, Priesta, Formal, Awakening. You good over there, Rex?
Yeah, I'm good.
I would say, I mean, the two guys that stand out that I feel like one of them has to end up on a team is Slasher or Skies. Even though I already have an AR, I feel like come on, like they gotta be on a team. My team, I feel like the vibes is just right to add Skies onto this roster, so that's where I'm going with it. I'm going with Skies.
Yeah.
At 7, the vibe roster, the dynasty team. He's younger than Slasher, so like the staying around for a while type situation. I'll take Skies in my dynasty format. And again, like I said, this is dynasty, so like the age does matter. So if you're wondering why some of the guys are getting left, like a Clay or a Crim or a Slasher, it's because they're up there and you don't know when they're going to necessarily retire. Like, you know, that's the biggest thing. So, all right, Rex. Who is Mr. Irrelevant?
I have Illy, Abizi, Hook, Dashy, Hydra, and Scump. So I'm very confident with my team. Other than we may be lacking an AR, just in case Dashy doesn't exactly
I would say
pan out. So I am going to pick an AR, and you know I'd be remiss if I didn't pick one of the greatest leaders in the Call of Duty scene.
This is inevitable.
A person who can really unite my whole dynasty squad and make them a unified, like a unit on the map. None of you other guys have anybody that's going to really bond the team together. Minus maybe Arcides, but I think Clayster.
Dude, the only player he has not played with on this team is Dashy.
Clayster is going to be my pick for my 7th guy. He's going to be like my leader. He's going to be the guy who unites everybody, brings the good vibes, creates that chemistry so that Ilya, Beezy, who they can all soar. Like
I would have bet my first child on that he was taking Clay with the last pick.
I would have bet my first child. Wow.
Clay,
but yeah, I mean, like I said, he's played with all players on that team except for Dashy. So this is quite the unity pick right there. I respect that, you know?
It is.
But yeah, so there's the final. I'll go to the bracket for you guys watching on YouTube. There is the final outcome.
There she is.
So who came in second, guys, behind me?
No, dude, I got first. My vibes are like so high. The chemistry on my team is unreal. Unreal. Way better than the chemistry any of you guys are creating right now.
Oh, come on. My starting four's vibes are
That's
just vibey. It's great, dude.
Yeah, you're vibing, but they're not teammates. They're just there. They're not a unified unit. They're not friends. They're just there.
A day or two after this goes live, I'll throw this poll up on Twitter, and then we'll see who really won.
I've never
all
not
my
gotten
guys are
last
hanging out,
in a freaking
having
poll.
a good time and winning games. That's what makes my team unique and special.
I'm convinced no one likes me.
Sam,
I've literally.
we love you.
I'm
okay?
pretty sure I've gotten third at every single poll we've ever done.
It's because you picked bad teams. Let's be honest. So
come on.
Bill, you got so many ARs. Come on now.
Maybe.
I mean, your team's of good, reliable. I mean, you have the most reliable team ever.
You do have a reliable team.
Mm-hmm.
And Josh is just hype beasting, but it is what it is.
Oh, really, huh?
The infamous
You
hype
mean
beast.
the best team.
Dude, you have
my
Simp,
bad.
Envoy, Celium, and Priesta.
Bro, you have Hydra.
That's a hype beast pick?
Yeah, obviously.
I picked Hydra in the 5th round. And no
you're
one
right,
was
that was
even
pretty
thinking of him. Come on.
Oh, my word.
I got the biggest brain picks here. My team's a unit.
I don't know.
I win.
But anyway, guys, that is the podcast. I mean, obviously, we got a lot more to talk about. Next week, we'll probably talk some challengers and a lot more. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, all the debate, the draft, and everything else. If you guys did, drop a comment on YouTube. You know, heart that thing on Spotify if they can do that.
1 year anniversary.
It's our 1 year anniversary. It's our 52nd episode.
52nd episode.
52nd episode. Wow.
I don't think it's technically like date-wise our
No.
exact anniversary, but it is our 52nd episode.
Yeah.
So very exciting. We appreciate you guys for hanging
you.
in here. All the ones who watched since episode 1.
Thank you.
You're my dad. And
You
we
are his
appreciate that. Yep. We appreciate it all. We appreciate the support. Drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts if you guys love it, and we'll be reading those. Maybe we'll do maybe 2 or 3 reviews next week and really have some fun with it.
Yeah.
We'll see. But as always, guys, I'm Josh, SalvationsElite. To my right is Sam, Bash_Bo3. And to our farthest right, per usual, is Rex, Shady, Nero. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next time. We out.